to answer everyone's burning questions. Yes, this is a nice coffee. Yes, I did make it. And yes, this is a jar that was possibly meant for pickles, but I don't like just throwing things away, especially glass. Anyways, enough about me. How you doing? It's me, Manny. So, obviously, you and I are gonna talk about A Promised Son by Barack Obama. I'm gonna tell you right now, out the gate. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was a good book. It was something, I would recommend this book. I would say, yeah, I would recommend it. You will know, you should probably know this right away. This book was intended to be 500 pages. It currently sits at 701 pages. So, there's a lot. Also, this is part one. Who knows how many parts this is gonna be, but as of right now, this is a part one to another book I'm assuming will come along later. There's a lot of minutiae, a lot of small details, but I enjoyed it. I think you'll enjoy it too. Spoiler alert! In terms of spoilers, don't freak out because most of us have lived through all of these. And so it's not like really a spoiler, it's more like, this is what happened. And all of this is public knowledge, so. And my favorite what the heck moments, because some of it, I'm like, what the heck? So let's get into it. Oh, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe so you can, watch my other videos and see what I'm doing. Buckle up. Sit back, enjoy, and let's go. Let's do this. Mwah. At the beginning of the book, former President Barack Obama talks about how he really wants to let the reader know what it's like an honest rendering of what it's like to be the President of the United States, and basically what his job entitles. Also, he wants to remind his audience that to be the President of the United States is a job. I liked a lot learning about what he was like growing up, and also what it was like going on his journey from this kid from Hawaii without a dad to all of his obstacles that he had overcome with, work, finances, family, to the loss of his mother, to where he is today. Fun little facts, little fun nugget. His family calls him Barry, which is short for bear. And I think it's really sweet. I'm never gonna call him that because that's weird. We don't know each other like that anymore. Hey bear, no, I couldn't even do it. So I'm just gonna keep it at Mr. Obama, Mr. President. Hello, how you doing? Actually, I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna tell, listen, what do you want me to call you? I don't wanna call you outside your name. If you tell me I want you to refer me as this, and I'll do it. Unless it's something strange, like, you know what? Forget it, I don't care. If you want me to call you Pickle, I'll call you Pickle. Okay. I wanna respect your life. One of the first wow moments I thought was really interesting is when he talked about his being raised by a single mother, and then he talked about in his pursuits, his mother was dying and she was getting really sick and she was on chemotherapy, and his sister called and said, hey, you should probably know this is happening, like mom's probably not gonna make it. So he said, I'll come out the next morning, I have to book a flight out. He did. Then he gets a call that night saying that his mom didn't make it. I'm just gonna quote him right here, okay? I thought about my mother and sister alone in the hospital room and me not there, so busy with all my grand pursuits. I knew I could never get that moment back. He lost his mom, Ooh, so he just talked about Michelle. He says when they first met, he was instantly smitten. Well, obviously it's Michelle Obama. She's freaking amazing. Duh. And then he starts talking about how what he liked about her was that they make a good team. Now, in the book, they talk about them being a good team. And I thought for sure, okay, well, obviously, she stood by him and did everything really easily. But turns out he has explained to us in the book that he recognizes that he kind of left her to take on a lot of extra responsibilities that she didn't necessarily sign up for. She had to take over parenting the house and keep her job while he was out going after his grand pursuits. I didn't say that, he said that. So listen, he recognizes that his wife kind of did everything to maintain a home while he was not available. Her values were really surrounded around family. She had strong family values. After addressing all of these issues that he's had, basically in his marriage, where he's not really home to be a part of his family because he runs for Congress, doesn't get it. Then he says, I'm gonna quote him on this one too. Those times when you identify a real problem in your life. analyze it, and then with utter confidence, come up with the completely wrong answer. And that's like, he's trying to be funny. And this is basically when he decides to run for Senate, which is honestly very hard on his family, because this is what he says. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not his wife. He says that it was really hard on his family because he was constantly raising money on the road, doing all these things, doing these important pursuits. And he said he recognized that, you know, his sacrifices weren't his alone. It's interesting in retrospect. So he runs for Congress, doesn't get it. Then he decides to run for Senate, which was the wrong choice. Was it wrong? Obviously not, right? It's kind of not required. It's kind of a necessity in his journey. But there was this ownership of, again, his family. Michelle was taking care of the house, and then they end up hiring a nanny just so they can keep things together. But that was hard on their family. After running for Senate, he won. If you don't know that, spoiler alert, so he won Senate. And because of that, he created a lot of buzz, got a lot of traction. A lot of people were really excited to see him. He talks about a story when he went to the zoo with his family and he got recognized, and his experience was kind of compromised for that. In the book, he said his children came up with an idea to develop an alias. And he said, you know, change everything and have like an alias. And then Sasha says her dad should change his voice because, quote, "Daddy talks too slow." And I'm not gonna lie, I agree. Someone makes a suggestion, hey, run for president. And he's like, I don't know about that. And then someone's like, no, just do it. And then he talks to his family about it. Specifically Michelle. Michelle's like, God, this is what she says. God, Barack, when is it gonna be enough? And quite honestly, I can see why she would say that. I mean, what she says is what she doesn't like about this is that it's going to exploit her family. And seriously, it did. If your whole family's on blast, Michelle asks her husband, why? Why do you want to do this? And I'm going to quote him on this because honestly, it's my favorite. I know that the day I raise my right hand and take an oath to be the president of the United States, the world will start to look at America differently. I know that kids all around this country, Black kids, Hispanic kids, kids that don't fit in, they'll see themselves differently too. The horizon lifted and possibilities expanded, and that alone will be worth it. Look, I'm not crying. Okay? But, anyways, Michelle says, all right, fine. We then talk about the whole process that he had went through, basically running for Senate, basically running for president. He talks about his other running mates, talks about Hillary, talks about Joe Biden, John Edwards. Now this John Edward moment I want to talk about because this is, okay, there's a little bit of shade, a little bit of sass. We're gonna talk about it. In talking about John Edwards, he says, the handsome and polished former vice president had left the Senate in 2004. Though I didn't know him well, I've never been particularly impressed by him. Heard that. His new populism seemed synthetic and poll-tested. Right here. Equivalent to one of those boy bands dreamt up by a marketing department. I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna lie. I agree. I totally agree. But hey, you know what? I'm just gonna sit back and mind my own business on that one. You know what I'm saying? And he also talks about his basic inexperience in debate and debating. He lets the audience know what he has learned, and I'm gonna share this with you, that the most effective answers were not to illuminate, but to evoke an emotion, identify an enemy, and signal that you're on their side. Because, okay, in his debates, he said he would often find himself get cut off too soon from the 1 minute mark because he said he would try to answer the question. And then he was taught it's not about answering the question. People are moved by emotions, not facts. And quite honestly, that's still true today. We're not gonna get into that. That's still true today. And I'm just gonna leave it there because obviously it's still true today. He also talks about the Iowa caucuses and how important it is. Now, I'm gonna say this. If you are not very familiar with the importance of Iowa, especially at that time, this book actually really breaks it down for you in an easy, consumable way so you understand what it's, the value and why it's so important for any Democratic nominee to win over Iowa. In terms of the press getting kind of involved in the Obama's lives, now I'm gonna say this. When Michelle said, like, I don't like the way it exploits our family, like 100%, but I want to share with you what he says that was said about Michelle, because first of all, how can you hate Michelle? I didn't like the way the press was coming for my wife, calling her, okay, Mira, you said calling her different. What the heck? Okay, and then they said she was not first lady material. What? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? But Mira, this one is, they said she also seemed, quote, angry. Whatever, goodbye. I'm not even participating. But this is the one that I was like, excuse me? Okay, so they said, one Fox News segment described her as, quote, Obama's baby mama. The amount of disrespect. I'm so confusion right now. What the heck? Anyways, so later on, talks a lot about Joe Biden and why he chose him to be his VP. Is, quote, decent, loyal, and honest. Oh, another fun one. This is my favorite. Actually, these are one of my favorite fun facts. He says before he goes on to speak, he will listen to Eminem's Lose Yourself. And I'm not gonna lie, I must have listened to that every time I get a little nervous, because if it's good enough for the Obamas, it's good enough for me. I'll tell you that right now. And you can quote me on that one. Then he talks about, long story really short, he won. And basically what it was like. It's fantastic. Duh. I remember exactly where I was when I found out. I live in California, so in 2008, I remember being like, wow, like, that's amazing. Also, I can't get married anymore because, Proposition 8. Anyways, that's another conversation. Anyways, thank you, Obama, for getting my rights back on that one. Oh, I'm gay. I don't know if you know that. It's pretty obvious. Then he talks about the first law he passed, which was an anti-discrimination law. And there you go. The first bill he signed into law. There you go. It was an anti-discrimination law. So there you go. Quite honestly, keep in mind, this is 700 pages. This is a long book. I'm not going to bore you with the rest, because the rest is pretty much public knowledge. And unless you're 12, you've lived through all of this. It goes from basically when he signed his first bill into law all the way to killing Osama bin Laden. So, and honestly, like, there's so much in there. There's so much. And like, it's really juicy and really interesting. I'm not gonna bore you with all of that because A, you've lived through it. Most of you have lived through it. And B, like, I don't want to ruin it. So get the book. It's really, really lovely. Remember, this is part 1 to, I don't know how many books, but would I gift it? Yes. Would I read it again? Of course I would. So I hope you enjoyed your time. Please let me know what you think. Tell me your favorite part. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that's important. And have a wonderful day. Mwah.